Well, I started writing very young. I started reading very young, like age 4, I think, and then I started producing these books when I was about 5. And at that point, I would mostly do the illustrations and tell my mom what I wanted them to say, and she would write them out. And then as I got a little older, I could write out stories myself, and I priced them, and I went around the neighborhood to sell them to my neighbors. And I guess I was reasonably successful at it. I had one elderly neighbor, Mrs. Roundtree, who bought a lot of my books. And then I raised the price to $1, which back in the 70s was a small fortune. And she balked at spending $1 for one of my books. So that was the end of my early publishing career. I read a book called A Story of Frogs, and that was one of my early works. And I think I just really loved writing the stories, but it was funny, after becoming an author, I went back and looked at those stories, and I realized that they actually did have elements of real fiction in them. I realized even back then that the characters had to feel emotions. So most of the stories started with once upon a time, and then there was a line in almost every one of them that said something bad happened, and then she cried and cried. So that was my extent of emotions that I wrote about at that age, but they were there.